Hello, dear students. Hope you have all been doing well during these challenging times. I also hope you have been going through the study material that has been shared on both WhatsApp group as well as Google Classroom. In this session, we shall be dealing with experiment 9 that is based on the concept of inheritance. The session is organized as follows. We shall first cover some basic background as to what is inheritance, what are the modes of inheritance and its types. We shall see the program definition, the concepts that are used, the actual program and the output. The capability of a class to acquire properties of an existing class is called as inheritance. In real life, people often say, your eyes look like your mom. Your hair is as long as your grandma's, and so on. You are acquiring the properties of your parents and your ancestors. The same concept of inheritance can also be implemented in the context of programming. The advantage of inheritance is that it enables code reusability. The class whose properties are being inherited is called as the base class or the superclass or the parent class. The class that is acquiring the properties is called as the derived class or the subclass or the child class. In the figure, class A is the base class. Class B is inheriting properties of class A and thus is a derived class of class A. Class C is a derived class of class B and acquires the properties of class B. There are three modes of inheritance: public, protected and private. When the mode of inheritance is public, then the access level of the base class members remains unchanged. That is, the public members of the base class become public in the derived class and the protected members of the base class become protected in the derived class. When the mode of inheritance is protected, then both the public as well as the protected members of the base class become protected in the derived class. When the mode of inheritance is private, both the public as well as protected members of the base class become private in the derived class. In all the three modes of inheritance, please note that the private members of the base class remain private to the base class and are never inherited by the derived class. The table here summarizes the concepts. When the type of inheritance or the mode of inheritance is public, as indicated earlier, the access level of base class members remains unchanged. That is, public base class members become public in the derived class and protected base class members become protected in the derived class. And the type of inheritance is protected. Both public and protected base class members become protected. And for private mode of inheritance, both public and protected become private. In all the three modes, the private base class members are hidden or not accessible in the derived class. Types of inheritance. It is categorized into the following types: single inheritance, multiple inheritance, multi-level inheritance, hierarchical inheritance, and hybrid inheritance. Let us quickly see what each one of these is. In single inheritance, a class is allowed to inherit from only one class. That is, a derived class inherits from only one base class. As can be seen from the figure, class B is a derived class of only class A. Multiple inheritance is another type of inheritance that allows a class to inherit from more than one base class. As can be seen from the figure, class A is a derived class of two base classes, class B and class C. Multi-level inheritance allows a derived class to be created from another derived class. It can be thought of as single inheritance extended to multiple levels. So here in the figure we can see that class B is a derived class of class C and class A is a derived class of class B. Hierarchical inheritance allows more than one subclass to be inherited from a single base class. As can be seen from the figure, classes B and E inherit from the single base class, class G. Classes A and C are derived classes of class B. Class D and class F are derived classes of class E. The last type of inheritance is hybrid or virtual inheritance that allows the combination of more than one type of inheritance. The image here shows the combination of hierarchical and multiple inheritance. Coming to the program definition, create a class called manager with attributes name, ID, and basic salary. Demonstrate inheritance by deriving classes HR manager and sales manager from manager and compute gross salary as per the following. HR manager, DA equal to 70% of basic, HRA equal to 20% of basic, deductions equal to 5% of basic. Sales manager, DA equal to 70% of basic, HRA equal to 10% of basic, TA equal to 5% of basic, and deductions equal to 5% of basic. DA stands for dearness allowance, HRA stands for house rent allowance, and TA stands for travel allowance. Gross salary can be computed as basic salary plus all the allowances minus all the deductions. The allowances and deductions are generally stated in terms of the basic salary as shown. So looking at the program definition, we can infer that the manager class is the base class and the two derived classes are HR manager and sales manager. Now let us see what are the concepts that would be used in the program. Protected access specifier. Whenever a base class member is declared as protected, then it behaves very much like a private member, except that it can be accessed in the derived classes. So if you look at our program, the manager class has attributes of name, ID, and basic salary. In order that these attributes are accessible in the derived class, we make them as protected. The second concept that we would be using is public inheritance, which we have already discussed. The access level of the base class members remains same in the derived class. Since we have a single base class manager and two derived classes, HR manager and sales manager, that are derived classes of class manager, the program would be making use of hierarchical inheritance. Another important concept that we would be using is to initialize the derived object using the base class constructor. The manager class would have a constructor that would initialize the data members of name, ID, and basic salary. Now, when we create a derived class object, whether it is an HR manager object or the sales manager object, these attributes can be these three attributes, name, ID, and basic salary, can be initialized by making use of the constructor of the base class, that is manager. So in order to do that, in the derived class constructor, we would be calling the base class constructor, passing the values correspondingly. In the actual program, we shall see how this can be done. Now let us look at the program. We declare the class manager. As already discussed, name, ID, and basic salary are protected members. We have the constructor manager that takes three parameters and initializes name, ID, and basic salary. We have a member function called disp to display the manager details, that is name, ID, and basic salary. That completes our declaration of the base class. We have the first derived class, HR manager, and we have used the mode of inheritance as public. class HR manager colon public manager. This means that the public members of the manager class will be public in the HR manager class, and the protected members of manager class will be protected in HR manager class. As can be seen in the class declaration, there are no data members, but by the virtue of inheritance, the class HR manager has 3 protected data members: name, ID, and basic salary. We have the constructor HR manager, which is taking 3 parameters for name, ID, and basic salary. Please note how the derived class constructor is invoking the base class constructor. It is specified as colon manager and then passing N, I, and D. When we actually instantiate an HR manager object, the values should be sent correspondingly for name, ID, and basic salary, which are then passed to the base class constructor to initialize the derived class object, that is HR manager. Apart from the constructor, we have a member function for computing the gross salary, which is going to compute as basic plus all the allowances minus deductions. So here we have 70% of basic as dearness allowance, 20% of basic as HRA, and 5% of basic for deductions. Accordingly, the gross salary is computed and returned by the gross member function. On similar lines, we have another derived class called sales manager, which is derived from the base class manager using public mode of inheritance. Here too, we initialize the sales manager object using the base class constructor of manager. We have yet another member function, gross, that computes the gross salary as per the requirement and returns its value. That completes the class declarations. Now let us look at the driver code, which is the main function. We are instantiating an object of the HR manager class, passing the values for name, ID, and basic salary respectively as John, 1, and 10,000. We are then displaying these details by invoking the display function. Please note that display function is not defined in the HR manager derived class. It is, however, defined in the base class manager. So the display of the disp function of the base class, that is manager, would be invoked, that displays the basic details of a manager, that is name, ID, and basic salary. and then we are invoking the gross function defined in the HR manager class to compute gross salary. Similar code is written for the sales manager. That completes the program. Would look as follows. HR manager details are the name John, ID 1, basic salary 10,000, and the gross salary computed is 18,500. Likewise, the sales manager details are name Sita, ID 2, basic salary 20,000, and the gross salary computed is 36,000. I hope this session has explained the experiment 9. In case you have any clarifications, please feel free to contact me. Thank you. Stay home, stay safe, and happy learning.